Hello, and welcome back to my Ratropolis guide video series. I said in the last video in this series, the Nightmare Mode Abridged video, that was going to be the last video in this series, and then I realized today I never covered the advisors. So I'm going to do that now. I may also make a video on the enemies. It would be probably pretty short, just, there's not a ton to say about all of them. I will do that, yeah. Next video after this, I'll be releasing the daily content, which is just me playing Wave 30 runs. Those will be coming out regularly from now on. However, some days if I decide that I want to make a guide video, I'll release a guide video alongside it. So yeah, let's start with what is an advisor. An advisor is just a permanent passive benefit you get. The only way you can lose an advisor is through an event. There's one event that can show up that'll have you clear out all of your advisors on wave 20. And the other way is you'll lose them if you're playing Nightmare Mode. There is one of the modifiers that causes you to eventually lose all your advisors. But for the purposes of clearing Wave 30, advisors are permanent passive benefits to you. Let's just get into it, right? First up is Farmer, plus 50% gold from grain, fruit, livestock, herb, and brewing cards. So one thing I do want to point out is that all of these advisors are... None of these advisors, with the exception of one specific advisor, none of them have active negatives. Well, some of them do. I'll talk about it when we get to them. But for the most part, having these advisors is better than not having them. However, due to what I'll talk about here, which is essentially there's skill advisors, building advisors, military advisors, and economic advisors. Economic, building, and skill advisors are, for the most part, without negatives. Military advisors are less so because you get forced to take cards. If you're having if you're having like a delicate balance in your deck, you're having an infinite, you add exactly 10 cards and you grab a advisor and it gives you a military advisor that gives you a card, it can just absolutely ruin you. However, if you're not playing that style, I think that advisors are good and they're always good to have. As long as you got to be careful. For me, I typically skip advisors because normally you get another option alongside of them, and I'll just take the other option. That's typically better because I don't want to roll the dice on getting one of the bad ones. But yeah, Farmer, I wanted to put that preface in because I think that Farmer is, there's not much reason. I would never pick him. The cards that he gives benefits for, I wouldn't want in the long term. However, it drives me insane that this guy doesn't give you a bonus on farm. Butcher, very simple, +5 bounty. Cool, free money. Taxman, this guy is really strong. -1 tax incoming cycle. What this means is that instead of getting tax every 5 seconds, you get tax every 4 seconds. I think that this guy is really, really strong. He's a lot of free money. Treasure Hunter, plus 50% gold from treasure boxes. Initially, I thought this guy was real bad. I still think he's pretty bad, but if you have to, in the wave 20 to 30, you can just take gold from the boxes if you're having bad economics with this guy, and it's okay. But no, I'm not the biggest fan. Quartermaster, -25% military card cost. Yeah, cool. Accountant, plus 25% all incoming gold. Extremely good. I would recommend grabbing this guy if you're offered him. This is insane. That's a lot of money. Woodcutter, -25% building card cost. I wouldn't actively pick this guy. I would probably rather have... So you'll get these out of boss chests, right? So what are they going up against? If you don't need the upgrade and you don't want a legendary card, for example, then you just want to grab the advisor. Or the other option would be expansion territory. Expansion territory is okay, but if you don't need the population from expansion territory, then just take the advisor, unless it's a bad one, right? Most of these advisors, they don't offer you any active negatives, right? So repairman, -50% building repair time. No downside. I like taking this guy just because I hate clicking and holding. As a special note, I would maybe prioritize picking this guy on the coast because you do get a lot of your buildings destroyed there. Recorder, -50% redraw cost. If you're redrawing a lot, this guy is nuts. Oh my god, that's so much money. Blacksmith, 25% increased military card attack. This doesn't apply the buff retroactively, so cards that are out, or military units that are out, do not gain attack. However, all future military units will gain attack. Similarly, Assistant, plus 25% military card HP. Both of these guys are great. There's no reason to be mad about picking them up. Undertaker, plus 15 gold when the military unit dies. Again, this isn't bad. This is not an active detriment. But God, it sucks. Like, this is... I think that gaining money when a unit dies is so worthless. It's literally... It's never going to earn you money because you have to pay money to put that guy down. Unless you're comboing this with, like, call to arms. No, I mean, I would almost rather take nothing than take this guy, honestly. Just take him so you don't get him in the pool. Commander, grant +2/+8 to all military cards. You basically get the barracks effect on all of your cards from this guy. Sure, if you get him early, this can be really good too. +2/+8 is huge on guards. Recruiter, get 1 of 6 military cards. This unit used to be actively bad because I think he was originally get 3 random military cards. So now you get to choose 1 of 6, and that's fine if you're looking for a specific guy. Dancer, plus 100% military units movement speed. Movement speed is something that I used to super underrate, but now I think is cool, and I think that Dancer as a result is pretty cool. Sentry. This is the first military advisor specific to cards. All of the cards, not all of them anymore, but a lot of the military cards that were in the game originally have an advisor to go with them. This is the first one of that type. So when you get an advisor of the type of card, so in this case Sentry, you get the card and then you get a benefit to the card. And some of these benefits can be good or bad. Well, they're very variable. I'll talk about them as we move forward because we're about to go through a lot of these guys. Yeah, I think it's real funny that the buff they give to guards is the guards miss less. But it makes sense because guards have such high attack speed, right? This guy's really bad. Getting guards, you're already going to have guards. It's just going to be a redundant card. If you can remove it, I mean, I guess. But nah, I wouldn't actively pick him ever. Shieldmaster, Shield Rat's card, minus 50% to Shield Rat's block condition. This means that Shield Rat will block every second attack instead of every fourth attack. This guy's really good. I mean, Shield Rat's great. I love Shield Rat. This guy makes Shield Rat better. Cool. Destroyer, this is the Armored Knight guy. Get Armored Knight card, plus 50% stun duration of the Armored Knight's attacks. I don't know. I don't have a very strong opinion about this guy. Armored Knight's okay, but I don't love him. Maybe longer stun changes up my opinion of him, but like, every time I've gotten it, I've just been disappointed. Gladiator, this is the Berserker guy. Get the Berserker card, recover lost HP while in Berserk mode. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what this means. What I believe this means is, I mean, basically all you need to know is that these guys heal when they're... I think when an ally dies, they all heal is how it works, but I'm not certain. It's interesting. It makes Berserker a lot stronger because they get a lasting lifespan. Trumpeter, get Banner Rat card, -2 attack to enemies nearby Banner Rats. This can drop them down to 1 attack, but it can't drop them any lower. It's cool. I mean, sure. Banner Rat, if you can fit him into the deck, this is a great way to put him in. Right, this is the thing, if you already have these cards and you're using them, like if you already have any of these units and you're actively using them, with the exception of Sentry maybe, the benefit is just really nice to have, but you have to be sure that you're not going to get really ruined by having a card added in. Because this is the other thing that you have to keep in mind. A lot of events, like the event after putting down your first wall, gives you a random advisor. You don't get to pick it. So, you know, if you're in the early game barely struggling along and then you get slapped with a Trumpeter, which just gives you a dead unit, Banner Rat doesn't do you much in the early game, it can be pretty bad. So you have to measure that out. Like, what are the odds you get something super dead? They're pretty low, honestly. Sniper, get Musketeer card plus 50% Musketeer's attack range. See my review of the Musketeer in my military card review for more about this. The attack range bonus isn't huge, but it helps. Teacher plus 2 leader level. Cool. I mean, there's not much to say about that one. Settler plus 25% Ratizen. This is pretty sick. Bonus population at any point in the game is good. I think this is you get 25% when you pick her up, and then you never get, like, it's not an ongoing benefit. Mason plus 300% HP to all currently built defensive walls. This is pretty cool. It just makes all of your walls stronger. I like him a lot. Side note, he is one of the few advisors in this game that gives you a benefit even if he gets removed. You don't lose the 300 HP buff if he is removed. Whereas I believe you lose the Ratizen buff if Settler goes away, but I'm not sure. I haven't had that interaction, honestly. Appraiser plus 1 reward selection from the treasure box. This is the biggest thing about this is you always get whatever you want out of the boss chest. There's no way around it. You always get it. The Silent plus 2 cards when you redraw, plus 2 seconds to redraw cooldown. I think this is actually longer than plus 2. I think it's plus 5, but I'm not certain on that. The Silent's pretty cool, especially if you're trying to do something with steel. It makes it a lot easier to get to. You can have 8 cards in your deck instead of 6. The Silent's cool. more card draws, cool. Really good when you combo her with hand, who I will point out when we get to there. Messenger. Wave notifications appear 15 seconds earlier, and you can see the enemy wave configuration if you click the wave alarm. I love this guy. Like, I honestly wish this guy was just a passive to every run. Being able to see what enemies are coming is really good. One other thing to note is that this guy will show you if you click on wave 30 on the desert which side the spider is going to attack from. Nurse, every 10 seconds all ally units heal 5 HP. This is great. Passive healing, I think this is one of the best ways to get healing in the game. Just have the nurse really strong. Saves you a lot of money from cards that don't die. Peddler, 25% down, reduced cost when purchasing a card from the shop or the markets. Great, it's money. Madame and Noble, +2 level chances of high level advisor, +2 level chances of high level card appearing. I don't know what this means. I mean, I know what it means. These guys are apparently set by rarity, but I don't know what the rarity type is, more or less. So it's hard to say for the advisors. The cards, you just get rarer cards earlier on, I'm pretty sure. But I'm not sure. Like, I don't know for 100% because it's hard to tell. I don't know what +2 level chances of that means. Samurai, this is the only non-military advisor that can give you a card, I believe. I will correct myself if I'm wrong there. But get attack card +2 to attack card's damage. This guy's really good if you're gonna, like, I think that getting him early is really good. Just make sure that you have a plan other than attack by wave 20, because otherwise you're gonna develop carpal tunnel. But no, he's really strong. Seeker, +1 card selection when acquiring a card. It's okay. Landlord, +1 tax per building you build. This guy's a lot of money, especially if you get him with tax, man. Like, holy moly. Cleric, whenever a card is removed, upgrade 1 random card. I want to talk, I'll come back to this guy. There's something I want to talk about with Cleric, but I don't know for sure if this happens with Cleric or if it's a specific interaction with Tinker. This one is the one that actively hurts you. Doomsdayer is the rat. This is the advisor that will actively cause you trouble if you get him early on. +10 Ratizen for -5 second wave period. -5 seconds, if you get this guy out of like one of your first events that can give you an advisor, this can just be run ending. It is. You lose a lot of money. Unless you have a strong economy settled down. Like, if you have a strong economy and this 10 Ratizen is okay, then this guy is fine. But this is the only advisor in this game that I would actively suggest you avoid if you're not sure, because that -5 seconds will kill you. Ironclad, at the end of each wave, and all allies restore 50% HP. I should note that there's a special achievement for getting the Silent, the Ironclad, and the Defect all together, so you gotta watch out for that. I think that the Ironclad is worse than the Nurse, but he's fine. Passive healing's cool. Tinker, when a card is removed, +50 gold. So I want to talk about this with Tinker. I'm not 100% certain this works with Cleric. However, I have confirmed that this works with Tinker. When you add ephemeral cards to your hand through something like Rally or through Call to Arms, things like that, when you play those cards, it gets counted as the card is being removed for the purposes of Tinker. So I had a run where I had Rally. I would rally 10 units back to my hand, and then I would play them all out, and I would gain 500 gold from Tinker. I don't know if that works with other when cards removed, because I tried this with a quest and it didn't work with the quest, so this may have been changed, or maybe it doesn't work with certain events, but certain ones it does. But I want to make a note of that. Try that out for yourself, see how it works. The V for Vendetta advisor. This guy used to be ridiculously busted. He's an event-specific advisor. This is the only advisor that you can only find through an event. It's, I believe, a random event that pops up. You sacrifice all of your tax for this guy. He used to make it so that all of your cards were free. That was insane. Like, that was absolutely nuts. They nerfed him down to only economy cards are free now. It's still okay. I don't know. If you're heavily reliant on tax, probably skip him. Otherwise, cool. Engineer, upgrade buildings by applying the same building card on top of the building. You get this from 2 ways. I have seen her show up in treasure chests, and you can get her from an event. If you get her from the event, you cannot expand your territory anymore, so you can't play any more walls. If you're already at the size limit, there's no reason not to pick up an engineer. Or if you see her from a chest and you don't have a better option, grab her, sure. But it just gives you the builder's passive. Defect, when a wave begins, lightning strikes, dealing 15 damage to all enemies. Oh, they changed the defect a little bit. So this hits all enemies for 15 damage now. This used to be every 7 seconds hit a random enemy for 15. Yeah, this seems good. I mean, it's just going to clear, if you get this before wave 10, it's going to clear most of the enemies out. Falls off super hard as time goes on, though 15 damage becomes a lot less. Tactician, 100% increased damage to all defensive buildings. Plague Doctor, get medic card, plus 5 attack to all units healed by medic for 5 seconds. I don't really like either of these, right? I don't have any more to say than just Robin Hood, get Longbow Rat card, lower enemy movement speed by 10% from Longbow Rat's attacks. It's interesting. If you're massing longbows, this guy's pretty sick. But otherwise, it's just going to add a longbow. And if longbow isn't your plan, you're just going to throw him away. Again. Landsknecht. Get Pike Rat card, 100% increase reduced movement speed from Pike Rat's attacks. I mean, if you stack up enough pikes, they just stop enemies to a halt with this guy. They just can't be moved up again. As time goes on, though, I feel less and less good about Pike Rat because of the newer units that are getting added in. Innkeeper, merchant stays in the city for an extra 15 seconds. This is really nice because if you're short on money, you get more time to find yourself with more money to buy something from the merchant to get a crucial card. I forgot, there is a second advisor that's bad, Greedy. I talked about Doomsdayer. Doomsdayer is pretty bad. I think that Greedy is pretty bad too. I think that you're going to probably, essentially, if you're playing less than one economic card every 5 seconds, this guy is net neutral. If you're playing no economic cards, or if you're playing something that manipulates your tax, like a raise tax, and only really a raise tax, because that's the only thing that manipulates based on your tax. Like if you just have high tax, this guy doesn't do anything for you. I guess one thing to note is if you're comboing him with Taxman, then he becomes a little better. But you have to be playing less than one economic card per 5 seconds to make this guy work out. My reasoning there is 10 tax is 10 extra gold every 5 seconds. 10 plus 10 to economic card costs. Hopefully that makes sense. Troubleshooter. When you get a disturb card, upgrade 1 random card. I've seen this guy only once. I think he's just super rare. Whenever you get a curse of any kind, it upgrades a random card. Yeah, pretty sick. Take events that give you curses, and then you get a lot of upgraded cards. Do note that curses can get upgraded, so it's worth removing them after you add them in. Almost done. We got hand. When your hand is empty, minus 50% to the redraw cooldown. So redrawing finishes up twice as fast when you empty your hand. It doesn't take a flat amount off or anything like that. It just recharges faster. It's good. Worker, labor effects are 25% faster. Sure, if you're doing labor. Assault Captain, plus 5 attack to military units for 30 seconds when moving to another defensive wall. As soon as you click the button to move units, they will get this buff. So it's not quite a full 30 seconds. I think it is that way anyway. It's been a while since I've seen this guy. The only thing, you can use this guy if you just want to, move your units between walls a lot. I don't care enough to do so. Hero, get Squire. Squire's the stacking up to Royal Guard guy. Meh, I don't particularly care for Squire. I've talked about that in the past. Assassin, 50% increase to skill cards damage. Assassin has become less useful because of the changes to add in more ways to buff skill card damage, but she's still fine if you're running skills. High Priestess, deal 1,000 damage to all enemies when City Hall is attacked. This will wipe out everything except for the final boss of Wave 30. The final boss has 3,000 health. Anything else will die as soon as your City Hall gets attacked. This is a single use. It's essentially a cheat death mechanic. She's cool. Crusader, get Guardian card, plus 20% damage reduction of Guardian's Guard. Especially with the buffs to Guardians, I think this guy is really strong, actually. This makes your Guardian extremely tanky, and that's all you really want out of a frontliner right now is an extremely beefy boy. So Crusader's pretty sick. He's one of the few military advisors I would consider actively grabbing. He turns Guardian from a mediocre unit to a pretty strong guy. Militia Leader. Get Militia card plus 100% to Militia's attack speed. Talked about this in the military video. Militia has the fastest attack speed in the game. With Militia Leader, it's even more absurd. Stack up their attack and you get to watch them go to work. It's pretty fun. Other than that, though, you're adding Militia to your deck, which is, bad. Arbalist, get Crossbow Rat plus 1 to Crossbow Rat's piercing attack. I'm not going to give a hot take on this one because I haven't played much with the new Crossbow Rat. I haven't been offered him yet. They changed his stats around. Before, I thought this was worthless because Crossbow Rat did 4 damage, but now that he's a little bit stronger, maybe this is better. But again, I don't know. David, get Slinger card. Every 5th Slinger attack, the stun duration is increased by 100%. I don't like Slinger. I don't like this card. And finally, Unforgiven Rat. Get exiled card minus 50% to exiled's attack penalty. This is the only way I would ever even consider taking exiled. I want to go look at exiled real quick because he got changed. But with that's probably the only way I would ever even consider using exiled. But -1 attack, you can stack up like 10 exileds on one side. They'll all have 20 attack, 48 health. They can hold it down to wave 20, but they'll get killed. Like exiled's big problem is he falls off 20 to 30. And yeah, this video came out to be 20 minutes. Wow. Yeah, I just wanted to put out a little something for the advisors here, so that now if you've been watching and you've been like, man, what do the advisors do? I don't know what this guy does. Now you can check out this guide. I didn't go as in depth on my thoughts with these because I wanted to keep this video a little bit shorter, and B, there's not much to say other than Greedy and Doomsdayer being actively avoid these units unless you're certain they are beneficial, and watch out for picking these guys if you might accidentally get yourself a military advisor that ruins you. There's not much to say, right? I could condense it down to those 2 points, but I wanted to at least read off what all of them do. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, if you enjoyed, drop a like, a comment, with a subscribe. Daily Ratropolis Wave 30 clears coming to a YouTube channel near you sometime soon. Have a good day. Farewell.